Hello and welcome to Crimes of the Heart Tarot. I'm Miss Vicki, and I'm going to use the tarot to see if we can gain more insight into unsolved mysteries, deaths, and disappearances. Let's get started. Welcome to Crimes of the Heart Tarot, and I want to thank all my new subscribers. It's very exciting. I really do appreciate you. I appreciate the kind comments. All right, today I want to do a reading on Bryan Kohberger. I have some questions for him. Now I know that he has not been convicted of the murder of the 4 students, and we're talking about the 4 Moscow, Idaho students that were basically hacked in their apartment. He was arrested. The police claim to have a lot of evidence against him, and surveillance and all that. Now, he has not had his day in court. He has not been convicted of the crime. So this is all presumed on my part. This is all just speculation. This is all alleged, and this is just for entertainment purposes only. All right, let's get started. I've been thinking about what the police said he did and what everyone assumes he did by going into the house, the rental property that the 4 students, actually 6 students lived. I guess it was the 3 girls and 2 other girls. So they actually were the 5 that rented the home. But there were 6 people in there that night. The girl's boyfriend and the 3 girls that normally lived there, and then 2. And it's a 3-story building. It has a basement where there's some bedrooms. It has the first floor and then the second floor. And it's in a downtown area. There's a lot of buildings around there, rental properties, cars, people all the time. And it just seems like a really foolhardy thing to do, to go in to a house, a 3-story, we'll call it a 3-story house, at night with 6 people and a dog, and murder 4 people. My question is, well, I guess I have several questions, quite a few questions. First of all, why did he target those people, the 3 girls and the boy? I'm not going to go through their names. Everyone knows what happened. I'm going to use this Shadowland Tarot because this is a very dark subject, but I want to use a different deck for Bryan this time, try to get more answers. So I guess my first question is, why did he target them? And he obviously did. The police are saying he did stalk them, though I don't know about that. I'm just going to lay some cards down. First question is going to be, why did he pick these people? There were 4 people murdered, 3 girls and a man, 3 girls and a boy. Why did he target them? And I believe he had to have targeted them because I believe there is evidence he stalked them or knew them or whatever. All right, I hope we can get some answers. These questions are just going through my mind, and I keep thinking, this is so dumb to go into a house like that. All right, the first card we get is the Page of Cups. Now, the first question I'm asking is, why did he target these people? The Page of Cups is a young person, and Bryan Kohberger, I think he was 27 at the time of the murders, and he's 28 now. I'm not sure about that. He is 28 now. All right, Page of Cups. All right, the Page of Cups is a young person. It's a beginning card. It's a Cups card, which is love, emotion, a gift. This is giving someone a gift. This is a very positive card. I'm going to read these all upright because they have plenty of visuals. There's a little boat. All right, a gift. Oh, well, for heaven's sake. All right. Then we have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is working. And it's kind of almost a completion card. Eights are someone who's worked very hard. It can mean money, it can mean health. Now Bryan was, I believe he had his master's degree. I get this backwards all the time. And he was working, or had begun going to school to work toward his PhD when these murders occurred. He worked very hard. These are little skulls. He was working toward a PhD in criminal justice, which is can be a gruesome course of studies. Okay, so he worked, he studied very hard. He studied death, crimes, skulls. All right. Now we're asking, why did he target them? Then we have the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles, here we go, it's charity. Giving to one person, receiving, it's usually uneven. It's a positive card. It's charity. It's giving to someone, someone taking, someone receiving. It's not always even. Let's look at the rest before we read this. Then we have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is love, emotions, choosing someone, a partnership. It can be it doesn't have to be a love match. It can be a choice. Cups. We're asking the question, why did he pick these people? Then we have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is about childhood. It's about hoping things would be better. In the past, childish things. This is kind of interesting. It's a lot of cups. He worked very hard. Charity. It was uneven. The give and take was uneven, I think, in his life. We know that the reports of people that knew him say he was an unusual person, difficult to get along with. He had ups and downs. Allegedly in school, he was overweight, and allegedly he began on heroin, which is a really, really devastating drug. Maybe he wished things were different. I see a lot of love here, but I think it's love in the wrong place. Well, I don't think it's self-love so much, but he does see an unevenness here in what he's been given, and choices. He hasn't been given the choices he's wanted, or he hasn't had an opportunity to choose what he wanted, even though his school was amazing. He was an outstanding student. All right, let's pull a few more cards. So why did he, oh, that came right out. Why did he choose them? All right, we're getting childhood, we're getting gifts, or not. All right, swords. Definitely something to do with childhood, and also with charity. Charity just means, the Six of Pentacles means give and take, fairness, and all that. It can mean almost anything. It can mean relationships, it can mean money, it can mean social standing. All right, now we have more swords. Okay, we've got the Four of Swords, taking a rest. He was tired of being treated the way he was treated, is what I'm getting. He wanted to be friends, boyfriend. He was offering a gift, but it wasn't received like he wanted it to be received. It wasn't fair. There wasn't charity like it should be. He wasn't given what he thought he should have. Then we have the Two of Swords. All right, the Two of Swords is someone who's blindfolded, standing on the brink of an ocean. Two swords crossed across his heart. It means sometimes, with certain people, it means not being able to make a decision. With other people, it means not wanting to see the truth. And he is protecting his heart. Swords are thoughts and ideas. The Star is someone who basically, the Star is a really positive card. Someone who wants to be somebody who wants to be a star. It also shows making the right choices, meeting the right people. It's a star. It's a card of, the Star is a card of choices. He wanted to be somebody. He wanted love. I see love. I see a lot of emotions here. He made offerings, gifts. He worked very hard at being who he thought he should be. He also worked very hard in the criminal justice system, trying to figure out what makes serial killers and criminals tick, and along with how the evidence works and everything else that would be involved with that. All right. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is a positive card upright. I'm reading these upright, but I'm reading the shadow attributes also. What goes around comes around. It's almost like his mind basically was going in circles. I don't get that he had mental illness. I think he almost had like delusions of grandeur, I want to say. He saw he was a star. Life was not fair to him. He felt that. Emotions. So he was unhappy with the situation that he had. This Four of Swords, wanting to take a break, is interesting. It can also mean going away after a battle, which is what he did after he did the crimes, if he is indeed guilty. A few more cards. So I'm getting he did this because he'd made love offerings, tried to do the right thing. He worked very hard at school, but he wasn't getting what he wanted. He wasn't a star. And I get a star in the emotional realm also, not just academics. All right. The Hangman. I think at this point he was entering into the PhD workforce, or school learning, whatever you want to call it, working toward it. He had just started. But at that point he took a step back. And all these other cards, he wasn't happy with his life. He wasn't happy with his emotional life. He wasn't happy with what was going on in his life. The Hangman steps back, and the Hangman makes a sacrifice. He also makes a sacrifice. Now, this can be a bad sacrifice. Were they sacrifices? Were the 4 people that were murdered sacrifices? Then we have the Moon. All right, the Moon is a really dark card. It can be a warning. This is talking about your really dark self. This is his shadow side. And it's got 2 people on a path making choices. The Moon is delusions and illusions. Now, I don't know if he had gone back onto substances, about if he did anything at all on and off. But at this point, he was delusional in thinking that he deserved to be a star. Very dark feelings, that's what I'm getting. The Wheel of Fortune hadn't come around the way he wanted it to. And then we have the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is sending your ships out. You've done all the work and you're waiting for them to come back. But according to these other cards, they weren't coming back. He wasn't getting what he wanted emotionally. So I think he decided that he would be a star in his own mind. He wasn't getting from relationships, I want to say with women. And I think at that point, he took another path. He took the dark path of the moon. He decided, well, if I can't be, I don't want to say a ladies' man, but if I can't be someone that women look up to, I'll make my own path. I'll become a star my own way. This is kind of strange, this reading. I don't see a lot of emotion in it. I don't think he had a lot of emotion all the time. The cups are passion. But I think he didn't like how life was going. He didn't like how he was making out with women, how he was... I think he thought he should have had a good relationship with women, but he didn't. It was almost like he didn't know what to do. So I'm getting that there was a turning point. Why he picked these people, I don't see that. I know that some people say he stalked them. He must have thought about it. I mean, I heard also that he messaged someone. I'm not sure if that's the right term or not. A couple more cards. Why did he do this? All right. He did this because he reached a turning point where he wasn't going to be a star in the eyes of women or a woman. And he wanted to move on. This is the Six of Swords. He wanted to move away from this way of living and move on to a better life in his mind. He wanted to find a way to be a star. All right. But it was a dark way, a dark pathway that he chose. His fantasies with women weren't working out. Apparently he had stalked some people, some women. And then we have the Knight of Wands. This is a fiery knight. This is someone who just decides to take a volatile, emotional path. So he did that. He moved on. His whole reason for doing this was to be a star. We have the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is building something in your heart, something emotional, something you can be proud of. He wasn't getting this from the women in his life. And he had a very strange way of looking at women, I also get. I think he was afraid of them. I got that in another reading. I don't see it so much in this. He chose a different path. All right, then we have the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is a happy home, childhood. This was what he decided to do. He couldn't be a star with women, or certain women, so he built a whole new way of looking at things. Happy. He wanted a happy childhood. He branched out. That's kind of what I'm getting from this. I don't know why he chose them. I think what I'm getting is they just caught his eye. He may have been watching other people. I don't think he was watching men. He was watching women. And the Knight of Wands, he was full of fire. He had to do something. He felt compelled. All right, well, that's kind of what I'm getting. He did target the people that he killed. I'm getting that it was just something he had to do. He wanted to be a star. He'd been studying the serial killers. He wanted to be like them. They were famous. He wasn't famous. He was almost laughed at sometimes. He'd been bullied in high school. He didn't know how to relate to women, apparently. He did have, I think, one or two women friends. But the beautiful, glamorous women were out of his reach. So I think he decided to kill two birds with one stone, or killed four birds. That's kind of an awful thing. I think he decided he would murder the women that had scorned him. And I think the women that he did murder, it wasn't just them personally, it was symbolic. They were symbolic of, I call it the harpies. And when he did that, he got revenge on the women, but he became famous in his own mind because he joined the ranks of the serial killers. And when I say serial killers, I don't know that he would have gone on to kill more people. I think he might have. All right, let's ask, why did he go to a house? The second question, and probably the one I'll just have time to do today, is why did he go into a house, a three-story we'll call it, with 6 people and a dog? I mean, that just seems really dumb. I mean, if you're gonna do a crime, would you take that many people on? And why would you pick that house? That's because that's where the girls lived. They became his target. All right, let's see what we get now, though. Maybe something else will come up with the cards. Why did he pick that house? All right. Why would he pick a 3-story house where 5 people permanently lived, and more than 5 sometimes, depending on whose boyfriend was there? All right. The 8 of Cups. Okay, he walked away from something he had built. That's just odd. He had great sorrow for something. We know that. He was walking away from the idea of having a normal life with a woman, with a glamorous, beautiful woman. All right. We've got the 9 of Wands. 9 of Wands is someone defending themselves. This is a warrior. I think he felt like he had to do this. I think he felt compelled because he didn't have the glory from women that he wanted. And he decided to take another route. But why that house? All right, Strength card. The Strength card is doing something positive. It's an 8. It's usually gently showing your strength. But the shadow side can be really a negative show of strength. I think he thought he was invincible. And then we have the 9 of Swords. This is a nightmare. I think he thought, just what I'm getting from these cards, he had to do something. He had to do something. This is what he decided to do. To murder the people, the women, I'm going to say women, not one woman, that had turned their backs on him, and make a name for himself. He had to do something to build himself up. He was on the defensive. He felt like his life was going to be over if he didn't take a stand. That's what I'm getting here. He was strong in the wrong way. I think he thought he was invincible. And then the 9 of Swords, it turned into a nightmare. I don't think he, looking at this card, I don't think he knew there would be all those people there. Now, he didn't live right there. He lived close by, and he had apparently stalked them, they say, but that's in the evidence. Is it possible that he didn't know? I I don't believe he'd been to the house. So a lot of people had been at parties a lot. Is it possible he thought it was just 2 stories? And that there were only a couple people there? I mean, not living there. And I mean by not living there, he didn't actually live, his apartment was about 10 miles away. But he could drive by, he had driven by. But was he mistaken? And thinking that there were just a few girls that lived there? 3 girls? 2 girls? I think he was so driven and so angry that he misjudged. We've got the 5 of Pentacles. This is someone feeling out in the cold. Look, there's a little gorilla watching them party. He did watch them. But he didn't live there. I mean, to stalk them, he'd have to drive by and park, basically. And he did that. They said he did that. But did he really? I think he was so angry, he just misjudged everything. So he wasn't living there where he could watch him all the time. And we have the Justice card. The Justice card is, it says what goes around comes around. It can be legal. I think he thought that since he had studied these serial killers and all these rules and regulations, I think he was greatly deluded. I think he thought he could just walk in. I think he took precautions and just do what he wanted. But I don't think he expected to see 4 people and a dog and 2 other people. That was a great mistake on his part, but he was so angry. We have the 2 of Swords again. There he is hiding and trying to make a decision. Thoughts. That's what I'm getting. Then we have the Chariot. He was driven to do this. What I'm getting is that this was because of not being able to make it with women, a great deep anger, and so intelligent. But I think he really, really made a big mistake doing this. And the Chariot shows that he thought he was in total control, but he wasn't. Well, this is kind of answers my questions a little bit. We're getting kind of, I almost have a hard time believing that he would have misjudged the situation that much, but a big ego, someone who thought he was so much smarter than anyone else, he might have just thought there were just a few innocent, helpless women in there, quote unquote. All right, I'm going to close the circle. I might do some more readings on Bryan. It's kind of depressing. I got a few answers. All right, like and subscribe. Leave kind comments. Leave me questions, ideas. Watch Afterlife Adventures with Amanda. She's amazing. And we'll see you next time. Bye.